Tracking, the government seems to now be quelling fears surrounding the rise in deposits into Dhan accounts. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has given out some new numbers today, and Sapna joins us now with the details. Sapna, once again, there seems to be a change in narrative. You know, so far we've heard from the Prime Minister addressing people in rallies saying don't allow your Dhan accounts to be misused and so on and so forth. And now the government seems to be saying that actually the deposits in Dhan accounts have slowed down and slowed down quite considerably. Take us through the Dhan math now.
Well, absolutely. If you look at the release that has come out from the Central Board of Direct Taxes, it's pretty much clear. As of 2nd December, the actual inflow into Dhan accounts all over the country was as low as 389 crores. 389 crores. When the demonetization drive had started in the first week of the demonetization drive, starting from 8th November, the collections were as high as around 21,000 crores, which came down to roughly around 12,000 crores in the next week. By the third week of November, the number was down to under 5,000 crores. And in the first 2 to 3 days of December, well, the number is now down to 389 crores. Now, the CBDT release is saying very clearly that the average balance since 8th November into the Dhan accounts is as low as around 13,000 rupees. I mean, what are we talking about over here? 13,000 rupees is the average balance in Dhan accounts. So the government is now very clearly indicating that the so-called rise which had been witnessed is not alarming, and the pace is really slowed down. And in fact, they are now trying to link it to the Prime Minister's statement that, if any money comes into your account, in the Dhan account, please claim it as your own, and you do not have to return it, basically. So the government has taken that line, and they have tried to assuage fears on the fact that probably large amounts of black money are being siphoned through the Dhan accounts. So that fear probably lies unfounded, and the government very clearly has put out its own numbers. There is also another flip side of the coin over here. In terms of, whatever is happening in terms of the tax raids and the tax investigations which are on, here again we understand that as far as the Dhan accounts are concerned, informal instructions have gone to the field forces in direct taxes, indicating that only those Dhan accounts where the accumulative deposit from 8th November is 10 lakh and above need to be investigated probably. But at this rate, we are pretty sure that, hardly any accounts will be pointing towards any kind of black money being siphoned into it and stuff like that. Plus, this is also a flagship program of the government, of the present government. They've really pushed for it. So, bringing a bad name to this financial inclusion program through the Dhan accounts probably is not a very good idea for them.
So the narrative is changing now from projecting the fact that perhaps there was large-scale misuse of Dhan accounts. Now the government is saying that the deposit rate into Dhan accounts has come down quite significantly, and if you look at the math, then the average works out to about 13,000 crores per account, which doesn't seem to be alarming. Sapna, appreciate you joining us. But what is alarming the government is the possible misuse of the banking system. Now, the Enforcement Directorate has carried out inquiries at more than 50 bank branches where huge deviations have been found in the pattern of deposits since the 8th of November. The inquiries follow allegations that certain bank officials have been involved with the conversion of black money into white in lieu of a commission for their services. The ED, we learn, is keeping a watch on those accounts in which amounts have been deposited post-demonetization. It's also checking those accounts which have shown suspicious transactions, like student accounts and dormant accounts could also be the area of focus.